Hey everybody, welcome back to another watch review. What is this show called? It's been a minute. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And I want to say, life has been lifing. My father passed recently and just navigating through that grief. But prior to that happening, just balancing my doctoral studies has been a lot. So I just decided to put YouTube on the back burner. But now that I'm nearing the end of my studies for my doctorate degree in education, my EDD, I have some time to spare and get back to YouTube, get back to creating content, which I love to do. So I'm happy to be here and back with you all. I hope you're still here. My subscriber count is still solid to where it last was. I mean, of course, I would love for it to increase. But yeah, I mean, we're back to creating videos for that to happen, right? Um, and this is right on time because we are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 20, episode 1. So yes, welcome back to Watch. What is, what is this channel called? It's been a minute. Watch Review with Maxine. Okay, I'm your host. Maxine. Hello, hello, hello. So this episode's titled "Forever Starts in Seattle." Now, I don't know if I mentioned this to you all before, but my favorite movie is Sleepless in Seattle since I was a kid, okay? And it is cemented in that category of favorite movies, of my favorite movie. So I love that this is placed in Seattle. Seattle is one of the places I do want to visit just because of the movie. But yeah, this season is based in Seattle. And let's just jump right into it. Right here, you see the women of this season. Now, what I really love about this revamp of Married at First Sight is we get straight into it. We get straight into it. No fluffing, no buffing, nothing. We just get straight into get married. Get married immediately, okay? And then let's get into the honeymoon. Let's get into the dynamics. Let's jump right into it. I don't want a whole diatribe of your familial background and the private interviews. Now we do get some understanding of these characters, right? These people of this season. So that's very interesting. We'll get into that. But yeah, I really love how we jumpstart this season, this new revamp of MAFS. It's even more revamped from last season because last season was the first iteration of it being revamped and it being on Peacock. And now this season, Peacock said, yeah, we're completely changing this up, okay? The therapist that we once saw on our screens, the Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper and the other woman, I forget her name, the black woman, Dr. Pia. Oh my gosh, yeah, Dr. Pia. No longer. For a moment though, I thought I saw Dr. Pastor Cal on one of the previews for this season, but I think it's just one of the guys for for this cast. Let me actually show you. So as you can see on my screen right here, this man here named Sean gives me Pastor Cal. It gives me Pastor Cal. So anyway, they're all gone. They're all gone onto better and brighter things. And we have two new therapists, and we just narrow it down to two, which I do like. Here we have Paul C. Brunson. His face looked familiar. Apparently, I think I remember a scene in which he said he was a matchmaker for Married at First Sight UK. But the way that he was saying it, or the way that he was seated in the scene, I thought he was like one of the actual castmates. And he was just saying the irony of life is I could match others, but I haven't been able to match myself. But anyway, we learned that he is actually one of the therapists, and we also have Dr. Lisa Paz. Okay, so These are the two therapists. They seem to be on one accord with each other, at least in the first episode. And I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I don't really have too many strong opinions about them. I think they really started off strong with knowing what they know and holding the women and the men accountable. Well, definitely the men, because there was a scene. I'm not really going chronologically at this point, but maybe I will at some point. I do have my notes, but let me just get to this. There's a scene in which Brunson, the male therapist, he holds Felipe accountable because Felipe has been late, okay? He's been a no-show to one of their Zoom calls, and he's trying to understand, okay, hello, are you ready for marriage? Because there's a character trait in you that I'm not seeing to be becoming of a husband. And he also holds Adam accountable because he said that, well, there's a scene in which he's asking Adam questions and Adam is not giving him direct answers. And Adam, here's the thing with Adam. Okay? Adam doesn't give me an open heart. He doesn't give me like an open book. He doesn't seem to be vulnerable. And I think he rides on the fact that he's a unicorn of a man. He is stable. He is handsome. He takes care of his health and his fitness. And he just looks good, right? But internally, he also has this like coldness to him. Do y'all peep that? I feel like he's a little cold. I feel like he's a little bit rigid. And it's one thing to have your own routines and your own structure of things. I believe in that. I absolutely do. But I think in doing so, I think there's a little bit of a judgment that he may have towards others. Anyway, let's just jump into the first scene of this episode. So we start off with the bachelorette and the bachelor party. Immediately, the women and the men, they're respectively in their spaces, partying up, getting to know each other. We learned that Felipe right here, okay, to the bottom right corner, he is from Brazil, and he tells us a story about him being told by a previous girlfriend that he cheated on her, and he did not remember him actually cheating. In fact, he was like, I guess he was drunk, or he just wasn't in his right mind and totally forgot about it. But anyway, he says this in like in a cavalier way, so much so that I do find that a bit concerning. I do. I feel like, okay, we also learned that he's a restaurant owner. He owns his own restaurant, and he really takes value in hosting, in creating and curating moments for people to gather. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that is a part of his culture as well. So I don't necessarily find that to be a red flag, but what I am learning about people who work in the restaurant life, right, in the restaurant field and hospitality, but specifically in restaurants, they do party. Like, that is a part of their job title. And I think with him, that is going to be his consistent excuse. And I don't know how that's going to fare well with his wife, Tori. So Adam, let's get into Adam. Adam, like I said earlier, he is financially stable. He is successful. There's a moment in which he's with the guys and he plays the piano, and it's impressive. Like, he knows how to play piano. He's playing this, like, was it concerto, right? Some, like, very notable sound. And he's playing it, and it's like, okay, are you done? It's been 7 straight minutes. It's been 10 minutes. And he's really in the zone. And the guys are being supportive. They're clapping. They're showing astonishment. Like, they're impressed by his talent, which is great. He is talented. But he's not reading the room, right? He's not even like, okay, let me just chill out. I'm with the guys. Like, I don't need to play a whole 20-minute session, a recital in front of these guys during our bachelor party. But he says, okay, let me just finish this off real quick. And so he keeps on going, playing this piano. So I thought that was a little weird. I feel like he's someone who is maybe inconsiderate is the word that I'm looking for. I think he's a bit inconsiderate. He doesn't read the room well, and he doesn't seem to care about other people's reactions or impressions of him, which I mean could also be a good thing, but I think in this moment it doesn't look like a good thing. So Marissa and Adam are matched. They are matched. Let me show you who Marissa is. Marissa is over here in the bottom right corner. And the thing is with Marissa, pretty woman. I think they will make a pretty looking couple. But Marissa doesn't seem to be as rigid as he is. And we learned that actually Adam is not a drinker. And he's like I said, he's very big in fitness. He's very big in health. And so he does not drink. He actually mentions how drinking alcohol inflames your body, which is actually true. Don't get me wrong. But he says this so dismissively because he was turned off when he received his wedding gift from Marissa. And one of the gifts is, what is it? One of the gift is a fireball shot. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, he was immediately, and you could feel the tension in the room amongst his groomsmen also, because I feel like they could pick up on him, and maybe they also they are also on the same page with him as far as like not drinking. That's what I'm wondering. But, and then her gift, like, and I think with Adam, I think he's also someone who's not easily impressed. I think that's what it is. He's not easily impressed. So, her gift to him was it was a fireball shot glass, and it was a book, and she wrote a few words in it, and she mentioned how she loves reading, and he wasn't really impressed either. He's like, yeah, I read. And then he says this book that he says a title of a book that he read, and I guess it's supposed to be this like impressive, mature book, I guess. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. Maybe some type of philosophical, self-help book, which I don't buy into anymore. But he said it like, yeah, I read that. I checked that off my list. I read that. And I think that's the issue with him. He's not impressed with others. Like, he doesn't find, I feel like he feels like he's the best in the room. And he can't learn from others. He can't receive any value from others. I feel like that's how he comes across. But the gift that he gives Marissa is, oh yeah, and also in the writing that Marissa gifted Adam, she didn't mention anything about fitness being like one of her hobbies or passions. And Adam noticed that. And as I said, Adam's very big on fitness and health. So that's something that he's like, oh, I don't know if she's going to fare well. I don't know if she's going to fit with my lifestyle type of thing. It feels like that was already a seed that may be planted and festering, and we'll see how that goes. But with Marissa, the gift that he gave her was this pickleball set and his boat gear. And I don't know, it felt like, okay, great. It's good to know that you are sharing a bit of yourself with your future wife, right? And I think he wrote her a little letter, but it was, I don't know, it felt cold. It felt absent. Like, something about it was absent. And then he ended it off with your husband, and she was like, oh yeah, husband, which is cute, but I also feel like there was no romance. Yeah, that's what it was. There was no romance. There was no romance in his gift. It was just this rigid explanation of who I am and my hobbies. It was just kind of all about him. Anyway, we learned Tori and Felipe are matched. Tori is right here on our left bottom corner, and she does not look like her family members. Let me just say that. I thought she was adopted. And I'm like, did I miss a moment? Because she looks nothing like her family. And I can't even recall if they mentioned where she's from. All I know is she said she came from humble beginnings. They showed baby pictures of her. Um, it's obvious that she got some plastic work done, right? Some plastic surgery, which, okay, your body, your choice, but dang, you look nothing like your family. She says she raised her younger sister. Her mom is in attendance. Her mom is a little heavier set and she's short. So I'm wondering, was there some type of health issue growing up in which her mom could not be a present and active parent? And the grandmother was there, so was she also raised under her grandmother? Was she raised by her grandmother primarily? I don't know, but nonetheless, Tori looks nothing like her family, okay? And that's concerning, okay? Felipe said that he wants a woman who is feminine, who's in her feminine energy, and who wears makeup, who dresses up, who likes to look cute. And he also says that it's very important, it's damn near mandatory for his wife to get along with his mother, because his mother, he is very close with his mom, and he's very close with his family overall. Which, look, I find that to be endearing, right? That is endearing. But I also find that to be a bit annoying. I mean, I think two things could exist here, because what do you mean mandatory, right? If me and your mom ever get into a tiff, which of course I wouldn't want that, right? But I feel like he may be the type to either want to stay out of it or side with his mother. And I feel like that is unbecoming of a husband, because scripturally, right, if you want to go back to just the text, when a man marries, his wife, right, and the family that he may be starting with his wife, or whether they have children or not, that's your new family. That's your nuclear family. That's your primary family. Now, not to say that your parents are like scum, but I'm just saying they're 1B while you and your wife are 1A. And I feel like with Felipe, I don't know how that's going to fare well with him. It seems like he is all about his family, his mom in particular, and that may be an issue. Tori does say that she is family oriented. She raised her little sister. She loves her family, and she even mentioned she mentioned at the altar that she gave a shout out to the family and friends who showed up for both of them. And she gave a direct speech to both sides of the family. So I thought that was very telling, and you could see Felipe was very impressed with that. So Felipe is habitually late. He says he parties a lot, but it's because of his work. And he doesn't have a typical 9 to 5 schedule. He does not have typical 9. Let me show you all. Yeah, he doesn't have a typical 9 to 5 schedule. He's someone who kind of, maybe he'll start work at 3 and then he'll be done by 1 in the morning. It depends on the restaurant schedule for that day, or when he's gonna come in, or whatever themes they may have it just depends. And I think that's probably common amongst those who work at a restaurant, especially the ones who own a restaurant. I wonder, because his position is owning a restaurant, does he have more of wiggle room to come in as he please? Does he have to be present at the restaurant every day? I wonder if that could be something that could be scheduled or arranged, so that could better fit the role of him being a husband and being more present for his wife. So Tori keeps saying, what if he runs? What if he runs? And I find it to be a bit concerning. I do find it to be a bit concerning, and I find it to be concerning because why are you saying that so much, right? It's one thing to be like, oh my gosh, what if he doesn't like what he sees, or what if we don't get along, or what if our families don't get along? Sure, those are understandable what ifs. But I think with her consistently saying, what if he runs, what if he runs, Okay, now I'm concerned. How many times have men ran away from you? And what are you doing? Because at this point, you're the common denominator. And I have to call you out on that. Not to be victim blaming, but why are you're saying this excessively, because I'm assuming this has happened to you more than once. But I'm also under the impression that you're pushing men away to run. So is she crazy? Right? Does she have something going on? Is she difficult to be with? So let's see how that pans out. Let's get to Belle and Mecca. Belle and Mecca, our first. Well, there are two black couples in this season, but this is the first one that we're seeing so far in the season. So Belle, her name is Belly Jolie, and I want to say she's Ethiopian. She didn't give insight on her background, her ethnic background, but just just from her forehead alone is given. She's a beautiful. I'm not trying to be shady, but she's a beautiful woman. But yeah, I mean the forehead is given Ethiopian. And this is Mecca. Mecca has his nails painted. Let's stop there. Let's stop there, okay? Huh? Is this where we are with black men? I remember a time when black men didn't have their nails painted, right? No, but even prior to that, I do remember metrosexual being the term being used now for men who like to spend more time on their physical appearance and match and maybe wear Murphs, right? But I remember, okay, learning that, okay, white men, if there are men who would wear nail polish, it would be white men that I would see every now and then, like just like and rocker lifestyle white men. Now we see it bleeding on over to our black men, and I don't like it. 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 Mecca is 28. Bella Jolie, I forget her age, but she's around that same age. They're a good looking couple. They do look good together. She does not kiss him. She does not lean in for a kiss, which, look, your body, your choice, fine, whatever it is. But Mecca, I want to say, I feel like he's a bit insecure. I feel like he's a bit insecure. Now, he says, okay, so during his interview with the therapist, I think he was being spoken to by, I think, Dr. Paz, the woman. She mentions that he makes a good living. Like, you make a great a pretty good salary. He's like, yeah, with my job so he's a sanitation worker, and I guess with that salary specifically, he makes a good living. But he also mentions that he does other side jobs, and that also adds on to his salary, which I think that's great. I love a working man. You better work. You better work. Now, he keeps saying that he's a sanitation worker. He's a sanitation worker. Well, he says specifically that he cleans porta potties, which, yeah, someone has to do it. And we actually learned that it's a family business. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, okay, black family with this entrepreneurial business that's doing pretty well. I think that's impressive. That's great. But I'm wondering if that's going to turn her off, because she mentioned something about she's big on her man being big on his hygiene. And I wonder if he comes home smelly. I don't know. But I mean, he looks clean. He looks like he cares about his appearance. And he does modeling on the side. I think he says catering as well. So all in all, I think he's someone physically he cares about. I mean, if you're wearing freaking nail polish as a black man, I would assume that you care about your appearance. I would. Even though I don't approve of what's my eyebrow, but it doesn't matter. But whatever. But yeah, so it's a family business. And he keeps mentioning, yeah, someone has to do it. Someone has to clean the porta potties. We learned that Bella Jolie is not close with her dad. He actually requested for her to complete a DNA test. And without a doubt, she is his daughter, but he still doesn't want a relationship. And that's very unfortunate. That's very sad. But we jump into Tori real quick. Oh no, hold on. Let's just jump right. Okay. Let's stick with Bella Jolie and Mecca. Mecca's dad is fine. Hello? Can we stop there? Mecca's dad is fine. I'm like, maybe you should be on the show. I don't know. He looks good. He looks good. Now, if his son is 28, he has to be probably 47. He looks like maybe 47, 48, 49, 50. But I would say any one of those ages. But he looks good. He looks good, okay? So we know how Mega's gonna look when he gets older. So that's good. That's good to know. Mecca said no. His dad says, and I feel like his dad looks like a little bit of a playboy, like a little bit of a a player's man, or what is it? A player. Not no. I mean, I don't want to say he looks like a player just because he looks good, or just like favored by women. Let me say that. I think he's someone who is favored by women, and he probably doesn't have a hard time pulling chicks. Let's see. He says a quote that says, "Cheek for the weak, tongue is sprung." So he has a personality. He's funny. He's his dad. And his dad name. What's his dad? I think I wrote it down. So what did I write? We learned his name is something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we get to this part in the vows between Mecca and Belle, right? Mecca is talking, and then he says that he wants his woman, all he asks for his woman to be receptivity. That's what he said, y'all. Obviously, he meant reciprocity, and I was like, red flag, red flag. If anything was not gonna make her kiss him in the lips, it will be that for me. It will be that. What is a receptivity? What are you talking about? So that just tells me, okay, you may make a good salary, but do you have a good education? Okay, that tells me, and maybe he was nervous, but that's two different words. Okay, and I get it. It's the first three letters are the same, but it's two different words. Receptivity. I don't know receptivity. I never heard someone say receptive. Is that even a word, actually? Let's stop there. It's receptive. If you're receptive to what I'm saying, you say something like that. But yeah, he meant reciprocity, because even after and I knew he meant that, because after he said that incorrect word, he described what reciprocity is. So anyway, Belle kissed him, or allowed him to kiss her on the cheek. And, they're both nervous. They look so tiny. They look so young. Just skinny and young. And it's like these babies are on the show. But I mean, no, they're old enough to get married. It's totally fine. I wrote down here, I feel like Mecca seems to be someone who needs validation. And I say this because he was saying how he felt her side of the family was looking at him, like sizing him up. He actually heard one of the people from her side say, "Oh, he aight." And then he's talking to us in the camera, and he's telling us that, I'm more than I'm fine. Like, it felt like he was expecting or wanting them to like just big him up some more, because maybe he's always been someone who's been complimented, so he probably wasn't in a position in which he's being looked at as not all that. That's the impression I'm getting. And he also says that he thinks that they probably think he's a pretty boy. If you're saying that, you probably are. That's what I'm getting. You probably are a pretty boy. You probably do think you're a pretty boy. And that's the impression that because sometimes we just project our own feelings onto others, and we create these narratives in our mind, and we really believe these narratives, right? No one said verbatim that he's a pretty boy. No, that wasn't heard from the side, right? It just something that he just thought in his head based off of a look. Now, I think it's because he is pretty much a pretty boy. He also asked her directly if her expectations were met when she walked down the aisle. Now, granted, this is a common question that has been asked throughout the seasons, but when you couple that with the other 2 points that I mentioned earlier about him feeling like her people was looking at him, like sizing him up, saying he's just all right, and him thinking that they're thinking he's a pretty boy, it feels like he's saying this, or he's asking this from her to validate him, right? To make him feel like her expectation was filled and you're so fine, you're so handsome. But in this moment, Belle didn't, at least they cut it off quickly. Y'all notice that it was like a scene jump, or is it cut up, however you say it. She didn't answer the question. So I was interested about, okay, that's interesting. So I think that is it, right? Okay, so we get to the last part, right? So we get to the last part between Adam and Marissa. Marissa took a shot with her bridesmaid, and she is walking down the aisle. He turns, oh, that's a new thing now. Instead of the husband immediately seeing his wife walk down the aisle, the husband is turned around, and then the officiant says, all right, you could turn around now. And then he sees his wife already in the middle of the aisle walking towards him. So that's a new thing now with this show. So once Marissa and Adam see each other, we see Marissa say, oh my gosh, I know him already. And then the episode ends. So we don't know if she knows him because they may have dated in the past. Maybe they were matched on an online website, an online dating website, or whatnot. Maybe she knows him through a friend, like very, very distant type of relationship. But it's one of those. So we've been through this before a couple of times throughout this show, of the wife remembering this new husband, right? Or somewhat dated him or was matched with him and it didn't work out on paper, and now they're forced to work it out, seemingly at least, on the show. So we'll see how that goes on the next episode. But let me know what y'all think about this first episode of season 20, Married at First Sight, based in Seattle. Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to this channel, hype this video up, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.